All right, you're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, and happy 4th of July. Hopefully you enjoyed your vacation time. This is the Nasdaq here. It was up today slightly with the lowest volume of the year. You can barely see it there, anemic volume. And what it has done recently, though, we had a healthy pullback last week, or the week before last, because it was bumping its head up against this upper channel line here, and the pullback allowed it to get back into the channel. So it was bumping its head up against the upper channel line, came back to the middle of the channel, and now it's starting to ramp higher again. But anyway, the Nasdaq was up today. It looks healthy. It's in a power trend. It looks real strong, and definitely the AI is the theme for 2023. But there's a lot of other sectors, like airlines, and there's just a lot of sectors that are participating now, the home builders. So this rally here is, much stronger than the January rally that we had. It's broader, it's stronger, and it's looking real good. I mean, it's but I like to stick with the winners. And since it's 4th of July and we're going to talk about fireworks, this is an explosion here of Tesla. I trade stocks, not indexes, so I'm interested in the stocks, and I'm definitely interested in Tesla, one of our leading stocks at MC Stock Charts. This one is up a nice move today of nearly 7%, $18 move on news of June deliveries. So Elon Musk and Tesla is delivering the goods. You can see the breakout here and just a run up, pull back to the 21, now ramping higher. So Tesla looks real strong. I'm going to go through some of my leading stocks, and I'll get to a couple of themes here. Supermicro, this is one that I believe, it broke its downtrend line here last week. There's your downtrend line, the break above, and now it's pulled back a little bit, and I think there's an alternative buy here right there at the 250 level. For me, if I didn't own it, I would add it there. I told you that I had it at like 50 last year, got shaken out, bought it at 70, got shaken out, bought it at 90, and vowed not to get shaken out, even though it traded below its 50. I didn't care because I knew it was undervalued. Kind of like I know CROX is undervalued now, but I'll get to that later. Supermicro is another one. NVDA, one of my top holdings here. This one has a 3 weeks tight pattern. Today was a nothing burger, flat up a buck. But you could see the 3 weeks tight, the buy point was like 390, then it ramped up to like 440. It's a nice $50 move. And then it pulled back and had another 3 weeks tight pattern, which, yeah, I think is a buy. You can see this bull wedge pattern as it pulls back to its 21. And NVIDIA is just one of the stronger stocks. So, yeah, those are the three that I like. Three of my top holdings there: SMCI, NVIDIA, and Tesla. So we did have some fireworks explosions to the upside. We also had some implosions to the downside, and one of them was in the biotech space, of course. It's Protagonist. This is on our watch list not too long ago. You could see it formed this consolidation pattern and then traded sideways, but it moved higher from the 25 to the 30 area. And then today it had good news with some data. And I don't know, these interns that they run in the show today just sold it. I don't know if they didn't know how to interpret the data, or they were selling drug stocks today. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But this one sold off like 40% on good news. I understand buy the rumor, sell the news, but this thing was down to 1665, and I just said, hey, I gotta buy this thing. This is ridiculous. So I did. I got it when it was near 18, and this thing just, once it hit bottom, it just started ramping higher. Maybe I should go to the 5-minute chart. You can see this, just like, whoa, what's going on here? They're selling this thing on good news. And then, I don't know, somebody must have figured out, maybe they got a call from the Hamdens, like, buy this stock, you idiots. And they drove it right back up near, above 22. And I really did not understand that move at all. So I would imagine that it would get back at least maybe to that 25 level that was at before with the news today. Johnson & Johnson was, thrilled with the data. So, this is biotech, it gets confusing at times. And there was a lot of drug stocks that were selling off today. It started this morning with AstraZeneca, failed trial, and this is a pretty big stock. This is at over 200 billion market cap. This thing sold off, rightfully so, on a failed trial data. So, when you get some of those, you're going to expect some downside, even with a big stock like that. So that one was down. MLTX, and I didn't even look at this one. I just wrote it down. Yeah, it was up. It had it ramped on positive trial news, and then they announced a secondary offering. It was down in pre-market, but had a nice day today. 5% gain. Of course, that is really nice. TGTX is another one. This is just an obvious one. When it moves, it's so obvious in both directions. But this one's going to need news to move. And I had this one on our watch list, or ready list, to purchase about 25.50. If it could get above that downtrend line, it couldn't. It got rejected there and came back today on decent volume too. So that stock, when it moves, as you can see, this thing moves like fast, but in both directions, as you can see. Anyway, that one had a real tough day today. Viking too, this one was down again. You can see this one's really been selling off. This one has good data as well, but this is the Lilly news that it sold off on. And also NVO, Novo Nordisk, another drug stock that was down today, still in its channel here, consolidating nicely. But the drug stocks are being sold today. So there's rotation out of drug stocks for whatever reason. I didn't even look at XBI. Gotta imagine that was down. Yeah, only 1/3%, not bad. But you can see this thing's not doing anything. Going, when the market's going higher, you want to see these things ramping, and this one's not. So I'm staying away from the drugs. Marvell, the semiconductors, it was hit and miss today. This one I like a lot as it's forming this flag pattern. You can see the gap higher on earnings, and now just kind of flagging and pinching in here. I like it above 60, and it ramped 2.5% today. So that was a nice move. AEHR is another one that was on our ready list. This one I got to take it off because it's pulled back to the 21. And then today ramped, more than 7%. So that's a nice move. It'll probably go higher, but it's not for me to buy right now. You got to already have it. Hubs is another one that I like for obvious reasons. Obviously, it's a strong stock. It had this run up after earnings, and now it's trading sideways, pulled back to a moving average. Just had a tight little inside day today, pulled back to its 10. And I still like that one for sure. MongoDB, just another one of the leaders acting well. Had an inside day, I believe, on just anemic volume. You can see the volume here. Just, I wasn't going to trade today. But when I saw that PTGX trading, I did have to buy that one. But for the most part, I just kind of played a little golf and watched the market on my phone. And this is ELF. Doing nothing again on just anemic volume. This is just a waste of time, really. Celsius, another pullback here to the 10 on just God. What was the volume today on this one? This looks like why even bother opening the stock market for this? 429,000 shares traded today. Wow. Spot, I noticed, made a new high. This is one of our leading stocks, Spotify, and it's over 160 now. So good for the longs there at Spot. I would say that was flat today. It was up a penny. Palo Alto Networks. Let's go to the cyber security stocks. Palo Alto is a leader, and you can see it had an inside day on anemic volume. This one broke out of its base. If you look at the weekly, and just has been running higher. So congrats to the longs there. You cannot, it's a little bit extended, but Fortinet is not. Even though it's been running a little bit, if you look at the weekly, this one still is on our ready list. 74.35 was that old high, so it took that out. I believe in 10% move from there is reasonable in this market. Zscaler, this one ran up, but it pulled back to that 143.63 area, which is an area that I am interested in, and it still looks good to me. I like pullbacks, the run up and then the pullback and lighter volume. That's a good combination and things that I look for when I want to get long. The home builders, I'm expecting a little rotation out of these things. They've been so strong, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Just to pull back to the 10 on anemic volume, and one stock that somebody mentioned to me that I need to cover or pay attention to, and this is Vishay. I believe this is an Indian company, electronics, parts, manufacturers, transistors, capacitors, inductors, diodes. You can see if you look at the weekly, it's been up like 10 weeks in a row with some decent volume here. There's a consolidation here and a stage 1 base. It's just been ramping higher. So whoever pointed that out to me is long, and congratulations. That stock has been performing well. Okay, I wanted to get to the CROX. I did mention that the interns were in the shop today. I think they were wearing their CROX and they were buying CROX. And it got above its 50 here. Remember last time, okay, back up the truck, Marty. Here we go. After the earnings report, they guided lower for Q2. So it was sold off, came up, sold off to the 200. Then it ramped up to the 50 simple moving average and was rejected back to the 200 again. So that is looking like support here. In the last few sessions, you can see 4 sessions here, it's starting to show us signs of life. And today traded and closed. That's 2 hammer candles in a row. And it closed above the 50. Now, the volume isn't really what we'd like, but I just got to say, CROX is undervalued. This is definitely a Peter Lynch type of stock here. You can see the revenues here. They're going to do $1 billion in revenues this quarter, and they're going to do more than $4 billion for the year. They're going to do about $12 in earnings, and at $12 in earnings is only worth $117. I'll eat my hat. They've got to be pricing in another revenue miss and a guide lower. And I think if they do that, the stock will not go down that much, maybe back to the 200. So I think the risk reward here is good, because I don't think they're going to guide lower. I think they're going to crush earnings and guide higher like they normally do. But we'll have to wait and see. I just want to point out a few things here with this stock. It's growing quarter after quarter. It's growing, it had been 50 and now 34%. So the sales are growing. The earnings 2023, 27, they got accelerated earnings. It does have the debt, but this is well known when they bought Hey Dude back in 2021. So I don't think that's hindering the stock. Its competition is Deckers. Now this, I got to mind you, this has got a market cap of 7.2 billion. And now you look at Deckers, and this one has a market cap of 14 billion, twice the market cap, with less revenue. And if you go to the margins here, CROX had 54. This got 50% gross margins, which is good. The Hoka shoes are great, and it's back to the gym, and people are buying Hokas. As they had a 40% sales growth last quarter, and the Uggs were down 18%. Of course, it's a seasonal shoe, but they have less revenues. Their $22 in earnings are worth $531, and you can see this thing's just grinding higher. There's no, a dip here every now and again to the 50. But yeah, in comparison to CROX, something's got to give. Either Decker's got to come down or CROX has got to go up. And I think it could be a little bit of both. Deckers could come in a little bit, or I believe CROX is undervalued and is going to go higher. Because you can't tell me that CROX and Owen Holdings and Deckers shoes, Hoka, are all that different. If the macro environment is going to slow sales, it's going to slow sales for all these companies, not just CROX. So I just got to believe, and I'll stop talking about this one of these days, but CROX is just undervalued here. Peter Lynch stock, and it was above its 50 here. It should just form a base, ahead of the earnings report here in July 20th. It's not that long away. 17 days. So we'll see what management has to say here. But I gotta believe that unless they guide lower, this thing's hit this bottom here at 101 area. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll get off my soapbox. I won't talk about CROX for another 72 hours. How about that? Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy the 4th of July. We'll be back Wednesday, and we never give up.